cue you in a few seconds. You will be live in 3, 2, 1.
Hey everybody, what's going on? It is another episode of The Affair. We got a new character's vision, Juliet. Let's see what she's talking about. Let's get it.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Sorry.
We're all confused. What's going on?
I made you. I thought we should.
I know, bring back the techno version.
This will bring us back, guys.
Yeah. I want the techno version.
I know.
We'll get it next week.
We'll get it
I
next
want to
week.
get it. I'm just start getting it, pop locking.
We'll get it for you.
Yeah,
The
I
robot
want that.
comes out.
I want that. I'm just gonna play it in my car. That's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
Just have it ready.
Perfect.
Word. What's up, everybody? Your boy's back. Lem Gonsalves
Yay!
here with my ladies. We have this engineer, beautiful Juliet, who I thought she was on a mic check, and she said, "Go," and I was like, "Oh, so that was probably the fastest, most crazy intro
I thought it was
ever
actually
done."
great.
I
Was
thought it
it
was
great?
solid. Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't know what I was
Solid.
saying.
It was
I
well
don't know.
polished.
You
Was it
did
well
it.
polished?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're
That's how you
natural.
roll, Lem.
That's how
yeah.
I roll. Okay, I try.
Well polished.
Well polished. Yeah, next to me is the incomparable Miss Alison Dean.
Hello. You
What
can find
up?
me everywhere at the Alison Dean.
Yeah.
Yay.
And Nadine in the house. Della Pelle, what's up?
That's me. That's me. You guys can find me at Nadine DP in the number 3.
And Nadine also is a great pop locker slash, what do they call the airstrip people?
Yeah, it's just,
Yeah.
grabbing things from different
Right,
shelves
right.
and moving it and placing it in
Yeah.
places.
Is that
like miming?
Yeah,
That's
I don't know.
what- yeah.
Maybe a little bit of mime
It's a great
action.
thing. We'll do a
It was
little
great.
dance and
Perfect.
teach
You gotta
lesson
check
later.
this out. Check out my Snapchat at the
Oh.
Poet Saint. And
Yes.
you're ready to see her doing her thing.
Yes.
Might be gang signs, so you might be offended, but just look past that.
But they're not meant to be gangs.
Right, they're not meant to be. You made it. Speaking of gang members, no, I'm just joking. The most gangster person in the studio,
know it.
April Whisenhant. What's up, girl?
Hey y'all, I am known for a good freestyle, so just
Okay.
get ready for those skills
Word,
later.
Word.
And beatboxing.
Yes, that as well. In the meantime, y'all can find me everywhere at April Whisenhant, and I just started using Instagram stories, but
Stories?
Stories.
Okay.
But
It's
I
a
do
whole new world.
I just still love my Snapchat too, though.
Right.
So
Exactly.
gotta show them both some love.
Gotta show. Yeah, you gotta be well rounded.
Yeah.
There it is. I'm also going old school with these paper notes, so bear with me. 'cause
He's going Noah Soloway
Exactly.
in this episode.
Sometimes my handwriting is suspect.
I was
yeah,
wondering how you were gonna read that, but
Yeah,
as
you
long
know
as
what?
you know what
Yeah.
you said.
So let's not be so harsh on your boy.
I can read it.
do that.
It's
Let's
all
do
right.
that.
Right.
It's gonna be all good.
It's very whimsical.
It's like a screen protector so people
Extreme.
can't read what you wrote down.
Like hieroglyphics.
Yeah.
We need those goggles that Juliet had on, and like the magnifying glass, and then
girl.
maybe yes, and then
That's what I'm when you leave and you come back. And, everybody talks about you. It's all good. So here we go. And I can't hear myself, which is also amazing.
We can hear you.
So
That's all
you
that
can hear me?
matters.
Okay.
Yeah.
As long as
Can you
wanna
hear
be
me?
seen. I can hear everybody. I just
okay.
can't hear myself. But it's
sometimes
cool.
that's a blessing.
Sometimes, again, another dig on Lem, but it's cool. I know they love me. It's the season. There we go. Oh, Nadine got me.
Got you. You that good?
You got me. I'm good. I can hear it. Hey, I can hear. Amen. I'm also part of the scarf ministry. So if you need a scarf, I'll just let you know. And I'll bless you with one. So let's dig into this.
So about the affair.
Right. So we got a new perspective. Miss Juliet, who obviously we've been introduced already.
Yep.
Through Noah's version. And I think also in the previews of this season, we saw a lot of her.
Yep.
So we knew that she was going to have a prominent figure. I didn't know that she was going to have her own version.
I did.
Or a perspective. You did, because you know everything.
I do not know everything. I do not know
Almost,
everything.
almost.
I just read,
read,
and they
you
said
read.
there was going to be a fifth perspective, and it was going to be hers.
So silly.
There it is. So first of all, just as a basis, what do you guys think of her perspective as a whole, her storyline?
I was really nervous at them doing the fifth perspective, and I was relieved after watching it tonight because I thought they did it very well. I liked how they wove things together. It was nice that they didn't drag on too much the reliving of the dinner party, but I thought that was well done.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I thought it was. I can accept it now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for me, it's just another point of view just makes me be like, I don't know who to trust anymore.
Right.
I'm just more confused as ever now. I don't know if I ever believe Noah because all these
Right.
women have different perspectives and different views of what happened.
Right.
So is Noah the common denominator, or is these women just, telling
Houses
their
Yeah.
own lies?
I think that it's definitely, I thought I would hate it, but now I'm just, and I didn't. I appreciated it, but I'm wondering what the purpose of it is. Is it because they have to show what Noah's going through because he's not with Alison or Helen right now, and that's the purpose of it, or is she going to be like a character for a really long time? You know what I mean? Because introducing a whole other perspective, it's like, it's so far from what the show has been before. Like now it's a whole new
Right.
thing. So
Point of
I'm
view.
like, well, I guess I'm just wondering like how big of a thing is she gonna be?
Gonna play
or is
in
it
the
just
plot.
so we can learn more about what Noah is going through? And obviously we have to know about her in order to know about the two of them because
Right.
I mean especially after tonight. But
I think on some level, because Helen and Allison's vantage points of Noah are tainted on some level, just because of sort of the nature of all of their relationships, I think Juliet is sort of like an island
yeah.
being introduced. And so I think they're going to use that character to sort of reshape Noah's perception of love in certain things. I think.
Because we were all kind of hating Noah at the end of last season. Now, even though like he did, a
Right.
very selfless thing, taking the blame for Alison and
Yeah.
Helen, but it's just because of all that he was doing and all the stuff with Eden, his publicist, close call, all the stuff with Eden or whatever she was, and it just, as much as I've like loved Noah this whole time, even I was like, oh gosh, you're annoying me. So I
Right.
think they're using it as a way to like kind of build him back up, and because people go through stuff and people do terrible things, obviously, but that doesn't mean he's a terrible person.
I think you made a good point about the fact that we don't see Helen as much because they don't have that connection, and then Allison, the connection is not there as well. So there has to be someone tied to him, and it has to be a woman, someone that he has some type of relationship or building something with, because again, it is Noah.
Yeah.
So I think that she plays that role, and I think also, as we see in this perspective from her, we see that she finds him at a pivotal moment where he could have died, and we see that on both ends from his perspective. Well, not really his perspective. We see it happen,
Right.
But then we see her perspective, him kind of her coming to the rescue. So I obviously she's going to be throughout the season, and she's going to have a pivotal role. I'm just not concerned, but I'm just I'm still not sold on her character yet. As far as, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm still up in the air as far as how I feel about her being introduced. I think they gave us a lot with her husband, and the fact that why she's here, and we see him, and we'll get into it. But I'm still not sold exactly. So I think there's going to be, I need to see more, and I'm sure we will, because we know this show has great writing. So I think they're definitely going to weave it in really good, but they're kind of leaving us with a little bit yet.
Of
Yeah.
course. Yeah. I also, here's the thing too. They're setting us up to believe that she will only be around this season, in the sense
Right.
of she's only here for the semester. She's
Right.
doing this certain project. So really, it could be that they're using her for a very, very specific motive to help him, arc him in some way this season, and then she's gone. And maybe then it's another, I don't know,
Yeah.
back to 4, or maybe she's gonna stay on. Who
Yeah.
knows? Who the hell knows with these writers?
Well, I think about already when just watching, from the first episode and then the beginning of tonight, when we're watching, we're like, oh my gosh, because like you find out she's having sex with the student, and then we obviously already know what happens with Noah because we saw it in the first episode, but I was just like, really? This is just some other chick?
Right.
But then to learn that she is married and what is happening with her husband immediately changed it, of course.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that it's like a good educational thing in the sense of, that's not a topic that a lot of shows discuss as far as like, what happens when
Right.
when your spouse becomes incapacitated, in a sort of way, and how do you deal with it? And it made me almost immediately appreciate it because I'm like, oh, well, this is good, and it's showing that because if she was just another, Flusy that Noah was hooking up with,
Right.
it's like, okay, it's not going to show us any sort of change. But the fact that she's well educated and she is going through this major thing in her life, but does this, it changes it completely. So I think that'll be ultimately what she's there for.
We see, just getting into when we start our version, you know, she is actually reading Noah's book. And I figured when we saw last week the introduction of her and she's teaching this class and Noah kind of just wakes up out of sleep and is like, hey, and she's, you know, she already knew who he was. But I had a feeling that she was kind of on his jock in the sense of from the book. And reading the book and was already kind of a fan, you know, inviting him, like it wasn't happenstance. Obviously she ran into him, but like inviting him to this dinner and wanting him to be there. And we see the move that was made, even though it was Noah's version, but we do see that there was actually some connection there, you know, between the two of them. And then she's, you know, preparing for a dinner. And then we see that scene where she's reading the book and she begins masturbating and that goes on. So it's like, okay, you want Noah
She already has him like build up in
Right.
her head
Right.
because he's already made her feel this sort of way.
Exactly.
Just by reading his book. So of
Right.
course, I mean, what ends up happening, it's almost like natural. Well, because Noah, he's gone without it for a long time.
Right.
Or we think
We
he's
think
gone
he's-
without
oh,
it
God,
for a long time. Oh, I can't
Let's
even.
hope he's gone for a long time.
But
Brendan Fraser.
but I think that she already, it's like a fangirl or something like that. But it is. Like you have this person built up in your mind and I mean, but also who cares?
See what happens. Yeah, and I liked from both point of views. You saw that she was the one pursuing him because I thought it was going to be opposite, that Noah like went on to her or something. And so I really liked that it was, I don't know, consistent in that aspect as
Right.
well, and it
Yeah.
made me really like appreciate Noah more as well. Like that there's actually something deeper happening with
You're
him.
like,
that
you're
he
not a
ran away from
liar.
that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah! Wow! I found one truth in
thing.
you. Oh my God!
saving grace.
Yeah, and I think I'm kind of liking too that they haven't had sex yet. That they haven't
Yeah.
really like that. There's not this tension, but kind of this
Right.
tension.
No, there's a
and
tension now.
Yeah.
You know that there's now that we ended it with
Sure.
Noah being like that. I don't know.
Right.
I kind of appreciate that more than last season where he was just trying to have
Get
all
at
that
everybody.
little fun.
Trying to
Yeah.
do
You know?
everything.
Yeah.
How did you guys feel? Because after that scene, we do see it that it jumps to dinner, which we did see. Obviously, there was a different perspective. There was different dialogue, same theme of dialogue, talking about consensual sex and all that going on. But
Wow, how different though. It was
Right.
still so different.
it
Yeah.
was very
Yeah.
different. Audrey, of course, still doing her thing with the soapbox and kind of arguing with Mike, and then seeing what the teacher Juliet is talking about and how she feels, and we see this elongated kind of version of what she feels, which is very interesting. Her take on that. Obviously, she's not from here; she's from France, and so she's given her perspective of how men are in France and how she personally feels about attraction and things of that nature. And then Noah's kind of pretty silent in most of this during the
taking it in.
conversation.
Yeah.
He's
Taking it
definitely taking it in.
Because he
Right.
likes what she's saying.
Well, because in his point of view, it was the exact opposite. She was quiet, and I feel like she was saying the exact monologue that
Right.
Noah said in his.
Yeah.
It was basically the exact same thing.
Right.
But this, what's her name? Audrey?
Audrey.
Yeah.
Audrey sort of also triggered him in his version specifically and said, "What do you think about this,
Right. Yeah.
Professor Soloway?" So in this instance, there was no asking him anything.
Right. Which leads to why he wouldn't have said much
Right.
at all.
He's like,
he's just kind of
"I'm
taking
good."
it in.
Yeah.
And then it was her version, obviously, so she's kind of the point person. I thought it was interesting, too, that when she did kind of give her version, you still see Audrey still kind of like, but I still don't agree, and all of this. And later,
dum, dum.
Right,
Yeah.
later you see her say like, well, I'm just going to sleep with him. I'm just going to go and sleep. And I'm like, well, wait a second. You just dispelled everything that you said prior.
Who
Yeah.
saw that coming? Did any of you guys?
I didn't see it coming.
I
Oh,
think,
no.
I
I
thought
didn't.
we all saw that coming.
I didn't.
You
I
are the
didn't.
only one that saw that coming then.
I was like, she obviously likes him. It's like,
no.
but
All right,
you could just
interesting.
I didn't
tell
see it. I
the
didn't
way
see
she, maybe not in the first episode, she definitely did not seem attracted to him.
Right.
But there's just, I don't know, I just got a vibe from her.
Interesting.
But I think I got a
Really?
vibe because of that moment on the stairs from the first episode when they were like sitting. Even
But that
though they're
didn't happen
smoking
in this.
cigarettes.
Well,
Well,
because
tonight.
obviously,
But
maybe it did.
Maybe that left me with that, and then tonight, because they didn't interact, obviously, tonight. But I think that, yeah, I saw it. I saw it coming. It's because you can tell she has that. She's got, I don't know what it's called, but like where she feels she needs like power over something. And I think the fact that he did show so much like power or authority over her that makes her want to be like,
made her leave. Okay,
it's almost like she's attracted to the thing that she's saying is awful.
that could be very real true.
That was really deep.
Pretty deep.
I'm like real thinking now. I'm like looking straight, like wow.
Deep music we can play.
Dum dum dum.
I think that's a great point. And I did not see it coming.
No.
The same as us. Because my thing is, I was just like, oh, this is how she feels, and she doesn't like him, so she's really kind of trying to expose him, and and she obviously knows about the book and trying to poke holes in the book and all of this kind of stuff. But that would also, help with the fact that she does like him, and that's why she's kind of overselling what her point is, because realistically, this is how she feels.
Right.
Going further, I thought it was interesting too when we see Juliet it revealed to Noah that she does have a husband. She is married. And to me, once she said that to me sold her attraction to Noah, because she then explains that she was her husband's student. And so Noah, who is a professor and has no problem fooling with his students, I think that led to, or kind of initiated the attraction for her to basically be like, oh, okay, he's down with that. So this is what I'm down with, so maybe we can be down together.
Yeah, I think she said that she said it on purpose.
No pun intended.
So romantic.
Yeah. She said it on purpose to make him.
Of course
That's her
she
way
did.
of letting him know,
yeah.
Of course she
by
did.
the way, I was with my professor. It's like
Right.
letting someone know without directly saying,
Exactly.
I'd be down for this. You're telling them
Exactly.
about another tryst that you had when you were younger. So you're like, well, so I might be down for this.
I'm
And then, of
just saying.
course, she like freaking attacks his face a second later.
Right.
And in that moment, I like hated her when I was
me
like, "You
too.
have a husband, really? This is so cliche."
Yeah.
And then you just love her later, and you realize
Right.
her circumstance, and just reminds you can't judge people.
Yeah.
Now,
quickly.
did
Yeah.
this confuse any of you when, so we see what happens, right, with her and Noah, and they do start kissing, and then he kind of like breaks away. It's like, I'm not ready for this yet. And then kind of after the fact, we see that she Skypes with her husband, and then find out that situation. So then it's like, okay, it makes sense. I think I even said this while we're watching. But in the middle of that, she smashes with Mike, the student who was making advances.
He was very aggressive.
He was very aggressive. He wanted, now...
That's what
where
she
do you-
wants,
do-
though.
but-
Yeah.
Okay,
She says
so,
she wants.
so wait, so do you think that she's just kind of use an old term, a floozy?
No.
No.
Or why smash with Mike?
I think it like takes her mind away
Yeah,
from
I
stuff.
agree.
And it's just like an easy thing,
So
Yeah,
because
like, oh, he's
she
there,
really wanted to
so-
smash with Noah, but Noah bounced. So
Yeah.
then it's like, okay, well, Mike wants it, so
Right.
let me give it. Is that
well,
what
and
it is?
she's already been doing it with him,
Yeah.
obviously. So it's just, I don't think she is sleeping with him because she just like feels this attraction to him. I think,
Right.
and I'm sure she does. Obviously, hopefully
a
you don't
void.
sleep with someone.
Fills a
But
void.
it fills a void, and he's there. And I don't think it's because of like deeper reasons, though.
Yeah, and even when they were done, like he tried to like hug her and stuff,
Right.
and she
She's
just
just
kind of
Right.
did that, and like
Give
it's
the
just
little
sex.
pat.
with
All
her.
right,
It's
good
not
job.
any-
Good job, little boy.
A plus.
Yeah. See you next time.
See you in class. That's hilarious. No, I didn't even notice that, but that's great body
did.
language
Yeah.
to show that she's not.
Body language
really
is
that-
huge. After, before, during
Right.
sex, it's,
Right.
you can tell so much.
Is it really Nadine? Is it?
How do you know?
I mean, what's television tells me.
And the way she was looking at herself in the mirror or the toaster
Window.
or with the window.
It was
Right.
the reflection.
She clearly is like, she's like, oh my gosh, I'm doing this. Like you can tell she is
She wasn't
like,
in it. She was just sort of
Yeah.
like, it was like passing
just
the time.
happening.
Yeah.
Passing the time.
Well, you know what I mean? Like, it just seemed
Sometimes
like
that happens.
it'd be interesting to see when her and Noah finally do the deed. I bet it's not going to appear as though she's just passing the time.
Yeah.
No, I don't
She
think so
obviously,
either.
she obviously definitely wants Noah.
Yeah.
She feels some kind of way because of this book, and she feels that. I think that's her connection. Also, them both being professors, both being on, I think, an intellectual level, kind of the same. I think that's where she is. And when she gave her, her spiel about how she feels about sex, that's exactly what Noah was talking about in his book. So
Yeah.
therefore, she's just like, oh my gosh, this is my knight in sexual armor.
Yeah.
And so I'm
This
just
is about
ready.
to be good.
Exactly. No,
Yeah.
really, because that's what she wants.
You know what's going to be actually very interesting, and I don't know if they're going to, in the coming episodes, give us her perspective of him coming to stay at her house or not. But it'll be interesting to see if they actually sleep together in her perspective. because in his, she leaves the room.
Oh, you're talking about at the very end.
Yeah.
Oh, so when it goes back to her.
And if they pick up there or not, I don't know. I think that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
It was also interesting that in her point of view, he was already upstairs and he was like kind of waiting for her upstairs.
And then
in his, she was like, "Oh, come on, let's get the
I know,
tour."
it's so funny.
Right.
And I kind of believe his version of that a lot more. That she would be the one who wanted, wanted him to come up and all this stuff. So
She
I kind
needed
of,
the moment with him.
but in her mind, she's like, "Oh, he was there waiting for me."
Yeah.
It wasn't my fault.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
It wasn't
it was conversation at dinner.
yeah.
He's right there. Where's he at? Oh, he's in my room. In my
He
bed.
happened to find my
Right.
bedroom.
He's not feeling well.
Reading a random
Sure.
book.
Right.
But
'Cause
then
that's
his
what he
jacket
does.
was there. So did he leave his jacket on purpose, or did he happen to just leave it?
I think he just happened to leave it.
Yeah.
Because he was quite flummoxed by
he
the
left.
whole.
And but I think obviously she saw it as like oh, he did this and his address is in here, but actually the address is in there because he just moved in like yesterday.
That day,
Or
yeah,
that
right.
day,
Right,
yeah.
right.
So she's like, oh my gosh, he left this note for me.
Right.
Which maybe I would think the same thing. I probably would have texted before I went over, but thankfully
I
she
would
didn't
have
because
waited
she
till the
found
next
him.
day.
No, no,
when,
no,
like,
no,
your
no.
coat is here.
No.
Depends on how hot and bothered I am.
She's
I don't know.
ready.
Yeah, she was
come on
ready.
now.
She was
She's
ready.
ready.
She's in
She's
heat.
not
She
waiting
roamed with the student.
for
That was just
nothing.
the appetizer.
enough.
She was like,
I need professor
This
for my
girl,
main course.
You can tell she is about it. So she's ready. No. I've also thought it was interesting that going into Noah's perspective, the second half of the show, how it continued from her version. From him
thank
being
God.
an
Like,
adolescent.
honestly, thank goodness. Because
Yeah.
if we had kept like recycling, like
Then it would've
it
been-
just
yeah.
where are we going here?
Right.
Yeah. So
Stop it. Leave me alone.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So continues from our version, and then we also see in his version. And at first I was just like, okay, there's got to be some reason because we keep having these flashbacks of him in prison.
Yes.
We know that he was there for 3 years. We did see. We keep calling him Brandon Fraser. He
I know.
actually does have a name.
Gunther.
John Gunther.
Yes.
Gunther.
John Gunther.
The name is revealed.
Don't have to call him Brandon Fraser
Not Brendan
anymore.
Fraser.
But we did call him that before because he kept popping up.
Brendan
as if he was,
Fraser.
right, stalking him almost.
Yeah.
And so, and we did see, obviously, it was revealed to us prior to this episode that he was a guard there at the prison. So now we are introduced to him, we see his name, and then we kind of see how their relationship developed. And so he ends up, he was a guard who competed in swimming back in high school, right?
They competed against one another.
Against each other. And
he's
But
kept
he's
up
like
with
kind of
Noah this-
sucky.
Yeah.
He was sucky in high school.
Right.
1985,
Right.
like
Dang.
years ago.
Years ago.
And he's kept up with him for
Right.
this long.
which
And
Clearly
wanted to
there's a
reach out.
conflict. Yeah. But he's like, he said that as if they knew each other. Like, it's like different if, okay, I have a friend that I'm not really friends with, and then 10 years later, I'm like, oh, hey,
yeah.
I thought about, like, they never even,
Yeah.
they weren't friends. They didn't know each other. So
Right.
clearly this guy he's got some sort of issue, or he's got an obsession
Ooh.
with Noah, obviously.
So,
and has
okay.
for a long
Gives me
time.
chills.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
no.
First of all, it creeped me out.
Yeah.
Like tremendously. I'm like, yo, this dude is on one. And as it kept continuing, I'm like, yo, and the typewriter, and he's got the book, and he's like, hey, you got your book. I'm reading it from cover to cover. Like,
No, he didn't do it that way. He was like opening the door,
Yeah.
walking in. Guess what I got? I'm like,
he was
ooh.
very, very candid about it, but wanted him to know, like, this is what I'm doing. But almost like not even, because you see a lot of times stalkers, they don't let you know they stalking you. They just stalking you. But this guy's like, no, I just want you to know I've been following you ever since 85. Like, and I know all about what you're doing, and I know all, and it's almost like.
But you know what is weird? He doesn't know certain things, like the whole wife thing, like Allison Bailey, the photo on the
I think
wall.
that's fake.
Oh, you think
Why
he was
didn't
playing?
he
I
read
think
the
that's-
book?
I think that's
he didn't
fake.
read the book.
I think
He
that
did, but
that's
he
a
did. There's
point.
not a picture,
No,
obviously.
I think that he was
But
saying
like
that.
Google?
Yeah, no. I think he was saying. I think he knows everything.
Okay.
And I think he was really, that was just a ploy to be like, oh, who's that? What? Oh, I don't
okay.
know that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just to kind of put off a little bit, and then because why else would you take it? Like,
Well, because it's like he needs something that Noah has. So like clearly, I mean, the thing that triggered him about that's probably like, oh, this is a beautiful picture of this beautiful woman. I'm gonna take it and probably do something disgusting.
Is
and
Allison gonna be hurt? Sorry
no, I
to
don't think that.
interrupt.
No, I think that he's taking it because he's gonna he's like, oh,
Masturbate?
this is Noah's girl.
I don't even think
this
he
is
has
Noah's
anything to do
wife.
with Allison. I think it's just the fact
No,
that.
it's just because she's Noah's wife. I
Right.
don't think that it's like an Allison thing. I think
Right.
that he saw it and he's like, oh, well, this is your wife. So
This is close to you.
yeah, so I'm gonna take
Let
it
me
and
take it
probably
away.
yeah,
And then put you in a headlock.
yeah.
Yeah,
I have to say, I think Brendan Fraser's going to get some more work after this. Because I'm like, wow, Brendan Fraser, you can be a creeper pretty well.
Yeah, he's definitely doing a good job.
Like,
that's
he's
for sure.
He's striking that chord where I'm like,
Oh man.
Yeah.
He was so excited when Noah wrote "my old friend" or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I'm just,
Yeah.
I obviously there's going to be there's going to be a lot more to this.
yeah, I'm like, did he beat him up as like?
yeah,
There's something.
there's gonna-
There's something weird. Like it's more than just like we competed one. I'm like,
Right.
there's something that went
There
down.
has
But
to be-
sometimes when people they have that thing in their mind, like if they're crazy, they can just be obsessed with
And
someone
create-
from whenever. Yeah,
Yeah.
create a whole world.
But we've done this show. We've covered this show since day one. I don't think there's nothing in happenstance with these shows and these characters. And I think there's got to be something there. It could be minor, but there's got to be something there that's pivotal to the plot as far as like why he was there. Because when he came, when we first see him, he's all bearded up. He's just shook. He's shook. Like he didn't want his family coming. He was just like, and then Helen, you know, of course, again, it's his version, but Helen's kind of pawing at him like, you've been here or you're out and da 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 da. And he's like, no, I don't want anything. And it's like he's very just closed in, as if like something really traumatic happened to him.
I think
in
for
prison.
sure something happened to him in prison. But I'm saying like as far as how their connection before, I just think it's coming off as he was a crazy person who
Right.
was obsessed with Noah, and now he's the guard in prison with him. I think something definitely is gonna
I still
happen.
think Noah killed him or something in jail. We'll talk
Oh,
in
that's
predictions.
Making up
You
stuff?
have not told us
I
that.
thought I predicted that.
Wait, hold on. You gonna drop
Sorry,
that
not
bombshell?
predictions.
Wait,
Yeah, I think
like, and
that.
he's conjuring all this stuff up?
Well, now it's the memory of the guy, because
No
what
way.
we were saying like last your face right now, because what we were saying last time was like even the liquor store encounter, he wasn't really there. That was a figment of his imagination.
Right.
The guy just was there as a ghost kind of and walked away. So I think he's just envisioning all of this, and then when he was getting attacked, it's because he's on these meds and he did it to himself and killed himself
Yeah.
over the guilt he has over killing this guy because this guy was torturing him in jail.
So at the end, wait,
Or he could just remember him because the guy tortured him in jail.
I like it.
There's
I
also
gotta
that.
say, I like
I do
it.
too.
I kind of like mine.
And
too.
actually,
Yeah.
so you know, the last we leave off with him calling, you know, one of the detectives. So what
Saying
if the
that he-
detective is like, that guy's dead?
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay. This will be very interesting.
And then Noah's like, what? How?
Wait.
And then it gets
That's
turned
too much
back.
for now. That's too much for
And
now.
Noah's back in jail.
Wait, that's too much.
No,
for
it
now.
can't be. It can't be. Oh my god, it can't.
I
be. It
think
can't be.
I think you're onto something, Nadine.
Sorry, guys. I
but
thought we had discussed this. I was like, it's in
that's
my
too
own
much.
head.
It's too much right now.
Yeah.
I'm not there yet. You can't be doing that to me. You can't be doing
I
that
thought
to
we
me.
were all on the same page.
I
Just wasn't.
have another question, and this is concerning Helen. We see her when he is in the hospital, and she brings the kids. She's very much like, you know, being Helen and being like, you know, oh yeah, da 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 da. I'm gonna answer all the questions, and I'm gonna tell you this, and I'm gonna tell you that. What's going on? Oh, let me tell you. And she's again, we see just kind of at the beginning when we first saw her, how she was very pawing after him, concerned about
Right.
him. Do you think that that's real?
Yes.
You think that's real?
Because
Why?
I think that she still loves him, and I think that she thinks that like he did this, obviously he did this thing for her, so she wants to make up for it, but I think it's not just that. I think she does really love him. It's just like, I mean, obviously she had to say that she was his wife just to probably get back in the
Sure, of course.
hospital, but she just has this thing. Even she wants to protect him, and I think she thinks that he'll end up coming back to her no matter what, because
she
she's
still
this
wants
like
to be with
protector
him.
of him.
She still wants to be with
I
him.
think so.
I think yes, 100%.
Yeah.
Helen is Team Noah forever.
Well, even when he's laying there, which of course it's just a comforting thing,
Right.
but and she grabs his hand,
Right.
she's not.
And he
It's
pulls
just
away.
her body language. Like
Right.
there's a difference if you're in the hospital and me grabbing your hand like this. Like it's like obviously I'm comforting, but if I grab your hand and I'm like
Tenderly.
this, then it's like, oh,
grab
I probably love
I
probably love you
I probably
still.
love you.
And that's just, I think she just has this idea in her mind that he's eventually going to come back to her, and she wants to be the one to be there, which I get. Of course, who doesn't want to be the one to
Right.
be there for someone? But she just got to move on.
Yeah, he's not checking for her at all.
No.
I think the spark came back for her the night that they were in the car together before
one-
they hit
yeah.
it.
Yes.
And
Yes.
from that moment, that spark
She
came
hasn't
back
let
of
go.
what she missed with him and how I think she forgave him in that moment and
Yeah.
forgot about the cheating and all the other stuff.
On top of
Yeah.
him going to prison.
And then,
to
so
cover
she
up.
had the spark, and then he went to prison.
And then it
for
was
her.
a fire.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's
Right.
just done. done. What
Right.
else? He's
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
hero.
Yeah.
You know, that's it.
Right.
Madly in love.
I'm Team Helen. I really like Helen. I hate that.
We're always opposite.
I know. I'm Team Helen, and I'll tell you this. I really hate, and she does this. She does a great job portraying this very like character that is just like. Want me,
Yeah.
And I think I just feel really love me, please. Please love me, the kids, please. No, I really feel for her because again, that was her husband. She's been with them so many years. They've been through so many ups and downs together, and I feel like also I feel bad for the fact she got screwed over by the doctor dude and how he ended up being a super douche.
But they're still together.
I know, but I'm saying he's still screwing her over. Like, it's not something that she wants. She wants Noah. She wants Noah, and I just want that to happen. Like, I want that to come back together.
You want Helen and Noah
Yes,
more
I do.
than Noah and Allison?
Yes, I do.
Oh,
Wow.
my
Bomb drop.
word.
Yes, I do. I said it.
You've never officially said it out loud before, so that's a big step.
I'm saying it now.
Wow.
But I really feel for Helen and everything. I'm not saying she's perfect. No, we know Noah's show ain't perfect.
Yeah.
But I really want that to go back together. I really do, and then be a family.
I feel for Helen.
I don't think it will.
No.
I don't think it will.
I don't think so
because
at all.
we don't have a show.
Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
We don't have a show.
I very much so feel for Helen, and
Yeah.
just last week I kept talking about how bad I feel for her, and I want good things because you can tell, I think deep down, or not even deep down, she is a good person.
Yeah.
But she's just clinging on to him when he is not into it at all. So it's very sad to
Right.
see that. Like this mother, this wonderful person who he's put her through absolute hell, and he is now acting like he doesn't even want anything to do with her, and she just can't let it go, even after all he's done. So it makes me feel so bad for her. But would I ever want to see them back together? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
I'm curious. Like, I feel like there's something that must have happened for him to sort of treat her like, so from his perspective, he's being very, very dismissive of her.
Very much so.
Extremely so, yeah. And I think it's just a little odd because even when everything was going down, he wasn't like that. I don't know. I feel like he's being brutally cold to her, and I'm like, what? How? Like what?
Maybe he almost blames her.
But that still doesn't make
Yeah.
sense to me because I think in his mind he still knows that really all of this is because of him. At the end of the day, like everything that has transpired up to
is
this
because
point
of his
is
actions.
really because of his actions. So
Yeah.
I feel like he's intelligent enough and he has enough foresight. Is that the right way of saying it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
To like kind of know that it was on him. So I think there's something else that happened while he was in jail.
I think it's maybe because, let's say he was tortured or whatever ends up happening in jail. I just think that even though he knows that he is the catalyst for
All of it?
terrible things happening, that I think he probably, it seems like he now is like, okay, well, I did this for you, but this terrible. I mean, of course, like anyone could grow to resent another person over that,
Yeah.
even if it is.
I think it's also the difference is before when he was cold, he still had Allison. He had Allison by his side, and he was comforted by the one he loved, and he was in love with someone. Now he doesn't have that. He went through this stuff in jail, and all of this has been crashing down on him. He's by himself. He's alone. So
Yeah.
of course he's gonna push her away.
And he
you know?
essentially lost Allison because he took the fall for
Right.
He just took
Helen.
the fall. But even though so someone in the comments said this last week, they're like, you have to go back and watch the finale. But then I remembered because they found remember Gabriel's rock at the scene, and no one knows that, so he knows that he was kind of that Allison was involved somehow. But I think that Helen was ultimately the one that was driving. So I think that's what he's kind of going back to. Like, he lost Allison because of this, because he took the fall. And of course, she didn't want him to take the fall because they had just had a baby, even though the baby isn't his.
Oh gosh.
And there's just,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think he's never gonna get. I mean, he's never gonna be released from Alison. Like the whole show, the whole premise of this show is them two.
Right.
And so there's that connection that I feel like they both feel, and we see in the previews going for next week that he does reach out to her and, you know, try
Well,
to
that was
have
the old.
something.
Well, I guess that's the message that he left that night on the bench.
Yeah.
Right.
Before
He left that
Right.
message the night he was stabbed.
Yep.
Exactly. So there's always going to be that, and that dynamic. I just think that Helen should. I want Helen to be happy. I'm just saying.
I want Helen to be happy too.
The timelines are gonna match up.
Right.
Yeah.
Of Noah and Alison finally. Wow.
Yeah.
That's exciting. I just got really excited.
Shout out to Maura Tierney who plays Helen. Just saying she does a great job.
She does.
And,
Yes, absolutely.
I
They
just want-
all do.
I just want her to be happy.
They're
damn.
all so
They,
amazing.
they do, but I'm just saying Helen needs to be happy.
But Helen was annoying tonight at the hospital, and you could tell that she was annoying him.
No, she
But
was.
fierce outfit, Helen.
Yeah, she looked good. Her lipstick too. I was like, okay,
Okay.
working it.
She was being annoying, but it
Yeah.
was out of love.
And it was
Yeah.
also
Yes.
his point of view, though. Maybe she
Right.
wasn't.
Yeah.
Maybe
Maybe
she
she was
really just
really
cared
there.
and wanted the
Exactly.
kids to come.
And then there'll be the truth somewhere
Right.
in between.
Yeah.
I want to cover one more thing before we get into predictions. So we see that when he is picked up from the hospital, he's picked up from his sister Nina, and you know she wants to bring him over to the house, but he's like, nah, I want to go to this French lady's house because she helped me.
saved
So
my
and
life.
she's just like, oh, here we go again.
Booty call.
Because she knows her brother.
Yeah.
But they talk about, this house situation again. It comes
Yes.
up. And it was gifted to him by their father, late father, and he doesn't want it. And so Nina doesn't want to take it. And so there's this kind of constant thing going on. And then she basically says that she's reeling from something, she's affected from something that happened 30 years ago.
30
And he's
years.
like, you need to get over it. It's been 30 years type thing. I want to ask you all, what do you think that is?
We would have no idea. It's definitely something that she did that he saved her from, or that he took up for her, or something like that.
I think it has
Gotta
something
be.
to do with the father.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because obviously he hated, his father. We all know that.
Wait, did
which
he
is
rape
surprise.
her?
Well, that's what I'm thinking. I'm
not.
thinking that they're the
There's
father.
a lot of rape
Too
talk.
much rape talk this
Right.
season.
The father, obviously, I think that he did something to her when they were obviously 30 years ago.
Which would
Yeah.
make Noah totally not want to have anything to do with his father.
Exactly. And that house. Because I think whatever happened in this house, which is why neither of them really want that, because it's a reminder.
But she's had a good relationship with the dad.
I
for
think
a
something
long time.
happened to Noah and she never stood up and never protected him and watched. And so
Yeah.
she wants forgiveness and he finally forgave her and she feels guilty.
But I think that's a good point. I don't think, though, I think the relationship thing, I don't know that it was a good relationship. I think it was something she did out of duty.
Yeah.
And then Noah just didn't want to have anything to do. He was like, I'm not.
Now,
even
why
doing
would
this.
if the dad potentially raped her whenever she was younger? I don't think she would
I don't
still
think it was
be.
that.
Yeah.
I don't think it was. I don't. hate
Let's
that
hope
word.
not.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
think it was
Honest to God.
that.
Yeah.
I don't think it was that. I think it was just something that happened that he either protected her or something that happened, and he's just trying to get away from it.
Yeah.
And she's obviously still reeling from
No,
it.
but why, I don't understand why she can't sell the house. Like, why that is now,
She doesn't want to take the money from him, but like,
She wants to give it to Noah.
But I think that was what they were expecting anyway, because, I mean, they made it seem that way in the first
her
episode.
husband was like,
Yeah.
We needed the house.
We needed the
Yeah.
house.
But she ultimately has the decision with
Yeah.
that too.
But
Yeah.
mentally, it seemed like she was kind of expecting, like, at least when when that scene went down and the husband was like, we needed that house, and
Mm-hmm.
she was responding to him saying, we needed the house, the look on her face to me was, we needed that house.
yeah.
So
No,
then,
for sure.
if that was the case, then if that's true, then why is she like?
That's what
not-
I'm saying.
Because it's her
I don't
brother.
know,
all the
It's
guilt still, whatever guilt
Yeah.
she has.
Right.
gotta be.
I think that they're obviously going to, delve into it more. At least, so please don't leave us hanging with that. I don't think that they will. I think there's going to be something more. They
will.
Because I
Yeah.
will die. I'd be like, what? You did that?
I'd
and
actually
didn't say
already
anything?"
kind of forgotten about that.
They
so.
brought it
Yeah.
up twice now, so
Yeah.
It is. It's going to be something revealed later.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's get into predictions and like the real deal.
Yeah.
Let's do that. Let's do that.
Just
Predictions.
Predictions,
There, we
we
got
get-
live.
Lights.
There we go.
TV
Predictions. Okay. April Whisenhant.
I want to read this tweet actually that we got last week, and it is. Sorry, I'm pulling it up right now. This is from Church and Style. She says, my motives might be a little selfish in this. I completely agree with April Whisenhant that Noah.
I want to read it.
Oh my God.
That Noah stabbed himself. So, and then she said, "So glad I found this podcast." We're glad you did too. I still think that he did it to himself because, just like throughout this episode, when the cops are interviewing him and the detective doing the cup like this, which was driving me nuts too. It was like they were pointing it out. It was such a thing. So, and it probably is because it's like a whatchamacallit, a side effect of his medication.
Right.
Or just like he's like jonesing for it, and little things affect people. And I think that they're making us see that, and especially when he's having the dream, like that almost led me to believe that he's having this like phantom pain because he was dreaming about it, and then he wakes up and his shoulder automatically is hurting.
Yeah.
Not to say that couldn't happen, but I think they're showing how like because of whatever happened in jail, he is obviously self-medicating and doing this stuff. So I still go with I still think he did it himself because, like the cop said, there was no forced entry, even though we did see Juliet just, obviously the door was unlocked.
Right.
But some sort of mess would have been made. And if somebody was killing, like, you would have,
Right.
I don't know. So I still think he did it to himself, just like not even, I don't think he meant to, but I think he definitely did that.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with that too. I stick with that too, that he did it to himself. And then, I already threw out my predictions mid-show, guys.
Right.
Sorry, I just got all into that.
Super excited.
So yeah, we don't have to dive back in, but Noah potentially may be a murderer. So there we go.
That's
Again.
that's a big one. I don't
The
even.
woman gets on with the body, like there's so many.
I don't know.
Maybe it wasn't. It could have been an accident that happened in prison. Too.
Yeah.
I don't.
It's just a
think
theory that I'm going to develop all week, guys. I
Yeah.
will come back
like
with a
it.
more decisive plan of how this happened. How to hide a murder in jail.
Right.
I definitely think that
In the
he-
typewriter.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
The
To
body's
clear
in the
typewriter.
typewriter.
Oh my God.
Ashes.
Something
Ashes.
clearly, but he could also just be reminiscing or dreaming about this dude because he did. We already see the beginning of the torture with him,
Yeah.
banging his shoulder, and
Right.
now we know about the shoulder injury. So I mean that, I don't know.
That was
I
a
like it, though.
painful moment for me. I was
Yeah,
like,
that was
ooh,
awful.
and there's where
Right.
it happened. I don't know, Lem. I need another week. I don't know.
I know nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all murky right now.
Okay. I think they're doing a good job setting up things for us.
Amen.
Hallelujah. Yeah, scarf ministry. No, I think they're doing a good
Trademark
job
that.
setting things up with us. I think that going in next week,
Yeah.
for what they showed us, I think a lot of the dots will start connecting, especially when it starts getting into Cole and Alison and Noah and how that dynamic is going to kind of play into things. However,
April's got something.
I just thought.
yeah. But I think I do appreciate what they're doing. I mean, my thing is, and I don't think, because they typically don't disappoint us as far as like letting us know when it comes to they're going to introduce something, they're going to follow through usually
Right.
with what they come up with. So I'm interested to see with Brandon Fraser's crazy. I'm just going to call him the whole time.
Gunther.
How pivotal his character is, because obviously
Yes.
we saw a lot of his character this particular episode and how that's going to develop if he is in fact a figment of his imagination. And as Nadine said, he's dead. He's really not alive. I don't know. I can't because I'm like, you kill him in jail. I don't know. But I think that there's obviously, something with that. I'm interested to see how that develops. I'm interested to see how it develops going into next week with Alison and Cole's wife and
hate
that
her,
whole
Louisa.
situation. Louisa with the baby, because I'm really like you guys did your thing last week, but when I watched it myself, I was like, oh, like I was just like, no, because
Yeah.
she's such a bad guy now, and just Alison just wanting her child, and that's all she cares about, and everything she went through, and it was just really
Well, okay.
a lot.
Like, devil's advocate, in Luisa's defense too, though, and as much as I'm with you, she's not my favorite character. But, that being said, you have to think, like, she kind of knows there's this, like, unrequited love between Alison and
course.
Cole, and she knows that, and she kind of knows Alison can just show up, and
And she's
suddenly
a
it's
mother.
like...
She's a mother.
Well,
She
and now
knows
they have
this.
another kid together.
Right.
It just... she feels threatened, and I
Right.
would. I mean, any person
Well,
would.
we find
Yeah,
that out. We
for
find
sure.
that out because she's like, oh, she's trying to get back in because she's trying to get back to
Sure.
food.
Right.
So that's
Yeah.
really where it's coming from, which is kind of janky. But no, I mean,
The baby from the mother. You don't
kinda,
do
it's
that.
It's janky. It's janky. So now, I mean, but I'm interested to see how that develops. I'm interested to see how that develops.
I just want to know how
Amen.
they're going to get. The show is about Noah and Allison ultimately.
Right.
So when are they, or are they going to reconnect at all? Because the show, obviously, I mean, we see the phone call. That's all we know of so far. But it's a very, very, very separate. It's like, okay, Allison's leading this life right now, and
Right.
it has zero connection to Noah or Helen and all that they're going through. When it's
Right.
all been intertwined before. So I'm like, how is it?
So
gonna happen.
I did a little. Just I know we have to wrap.
Yeah.
I did a little reading when last season ended, just on the creator of the show and all that stuff. And as much as the first season was heavy on Noah and Allison, really the premise is not necessarily on
The two of them.
that affair. I mean, really, the show is eons more than just that alone. So we have to also keep that in mind. Like
Yeah.
it may not go back to
back to
Noah
Yeah.
and Allison.
There'll be some interaction.
I would die.
obviously. Yeah, there's gonna be some interaction, but yeah, as far as them getting back
It's
together,
possible that
Yeah.
it's gonna spiral into other.
The affair.
Who knows?
ends.
Yeah.
We'll have to keep watching. But ladies and gentlemen, that's been
Well,
our show.
Their affair.
Yes.
We want to thank
New
you for
affair.
tuning in
New
as always and being with us. Thank you for everyone that was in the live chat. I know you were there. We didn't see it, but you were there.
Next week we will.
Tweet April.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
please tweet me.
If you agree with her, you tweet her. That's how we do it.
Bye.
I've been your host, Lem Gonsalves. You can find me at The Poet Saint all day, every day. Allison, where you at?
You can find me everywhere at the Alison Dean.
You can find me at Nadine DP in the number 3.
And y'all can find me everywhere at April Whisenhant.
All right, until next week. We'll see you then.
See you
Let's
next
get it.
week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
See you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.